Welcome back to another episode of the Real Bourbon Bros podcast, the essential podcast for the novice yet curious whiskey enthusiast.
Welcome. We are the Real Bourbon Bros here in Louisville, talking to Ken Hagan from Left Bank. We're here actually to look at Mike Safai's product, the Safai line.
Yeah.
Ken.
And I'm Gary.
This is Gary.
Usually I say hi.
This is Steve. Well, I'd like to welcome, thanks for taking the time out for our little interview here. Your company is Left Bank. Tell us a little bit about how you got into the bourbon world, where your origins are, and where you are today.
Sure. So I was a bourbon hunter. I got tired of hunting for hard-to-find bottles.
So
10, 12 years ago, I just got tired of it, so I started experimenting with aging in my attic and garage with small 3-gallon, 3-liter barrels, go get some White Dog off a friend's still, and experiment. So I really got curious about aging.
Yeah.
And then about 10 years ago, my business partner, my old college roommate in New Orleans, called me up and said, hey, I found deadhead shipping containers that are coming downriver empty. So these are your 20-foot containers that they would come from Asia, they'd go to a factory and unload. So we had the idea to rent them, and our barrels hitch a ride downriver from Owensboro, Kentucky on the left bank of the Ohio down to New Orleans, and most of mine's bottled down there. The reason we do that is that's where bourbon got the name bourbon. Down in New Orleans, French expats wanted things made the French way. So around 1807 to 1809, two French brothers in Louisville sent Kentucky's corn whiskey in charred oak barrels downriver to New Orleans. Got down there, picked up that rich color, picked up a smoother flavor. They started calling it that Bourbon whiskey. Bourbon was an homage to the King Louis, who in 1789 was separated from his head by the guillotine. So a lot of these expats gave a nod to their former ruler, the Bourbon King, and started calling it that Bourbon whiskey. So at Left Bank, we recreate that tradition. I'm the product guy, and what I like is being able to send my barrels on a ride, an intermodal journey from Kentucky down to New Orleans. Product-wise, I've always sourced Green River bourbon, and I stay finish. So my barrels come down with a combination of heavily toasted American oak, heavily charred American oak, and toasted French oak. That lets me be a non-distilling producer who's actually doing something, not just slapping my grandpappy's name on it. I'm actually doing something to the product on the way down. So that's my journey as Left Bank. 4 or 5 years ago, Mike Safai was looking for a home for his barrels, and that's how we fell in together. Was he put his barrels in my warehouse in West Louisville. So I started being his warehouser and bottling for him. And so I've been along with Mike for the journey as the warehouser and bottler. Mike is the creative guy behind Safai Bourbon and Safai Rye, though.
Oh, perfect. And can you talk a little bit about Mike Safai and his past and how he came to meet you and that process of how you guys met each other and kind of the collaboration and where you guys are at today at this point?
Yeah, sure. I'd be glad to. Mike's a pretty fascinating character. He is ADHD as a person. Mike had a full career as an airplane mechanic for UPS.
Oh, no kidding.
So he was a Boeing airplane mechanic for 30 years. Later in his career, he started making coffee. Mike is a super taster. He's got a very, very good palate. So he started making Safai coffee 25 years ago. So basically roasting, starting a couple of coffee shops. He's had a few iterations of that. The main market for Safai coffee right now is in hotel rooms. So Safai coffee is in about 700,000 hotel rooms around the world, part of like vacation clubs and hotel chains. It'll be the foil pack coffee you'll get in some of your hotels. So that was kind of his day job, was making Safai coffee. Then he also owns the market we're in right now, which is a public food hall. He makes custom electric guitars. He owns a wedding venue. He does a lot of things. He paints. 12 years ago, he and another friend got involved in starting a distillery. So they flew to Breckenridge, they explored, they learned about distilling, and basically they came up with the mash bills that are Safai Bourbon right now. So Safai Bourbon itself is a wheated bourbon with honey roasted barley, and then Safai Rye is a 95.5 rye. All of his whiskeys are distilled at New Riff. They were client number 3 at New Riff when Ken was just getting started in 2016. So they were one of the first clients, and this is not sourced, this is contract distilled. And another thing that makes a Safai whiskey different is it's all aged in Kelvin Cooperage barrels. Kelvin Cooperage is an amazing family-run cooperage in South Louisville. They use natural wood flame to toast and char their barrels. They're pretty amazing.
Perfect. And we have a few samples right here of Safai. We have a 10-year and an 8-year.
This looks like a rye and a bourbon,
Yes.
114 and a 128 proof. Woohoo!
Yeah, and the color is amazing. I know we just did a quick
very
little
dark.
tour around here. of the building, and we got to see behind the scenes some of the bottles that if we're doing single barrel picks of, and the color and all of them were amazing. So we're a big fan of the color. It kind of like gets us excited for the taste and the experience of the bourbon or the rye, and that's what I noticed right away with these two.
Yeah, they're super rich. Most of the things we bottle here we'll do at around 112 to 117 proof. That's where we think that it presents itself best. But a lot of clubs are really turning on to the Safai train right now, and a lot of the clubs are asking for it barrel proof.
Yes.
And I get that you can always add water, but they do generally open up better when you go down just a few proof from the 130, the 128.
Right.
So we haven't had any hazmats yet, but most of them are landing in the upper 120s on proof. The color comes from A, just how rich and deep that is, and also B, those Kelvin Cooperage barrels have a good layer of toast, so you're getting a lot of color and interaction from the barrels.
How many releases have you had so far with Safai? How many have he put out total?
We've probably only done 20, 25 barrels.
Okay.
So they're not releases per se, but barrels.
Correct.
So we're in the teens on the bourbon, and we're in the single digits on the rye. He's jumped around numbers for a little bit, but so I'd say we're probably about 25 barrels, maybe 30 barrels total that we've done. Most of everything we've done for Safai has been a single barrel.
And as far as the consumer, how are they distributed in other states besides Kentucky then?
No. So Safai is distributed in Kentucky to some outlets, but what's happened in other states is clubs and retail outlets are buying barrels. So that's the only distribution in other states. We've had some clubs in Texas and Appalachia. They come and they buy barrels. Nashville has a store that just picked up some. We had another store in San Antonio last week do a pick. So they're getting to stores, but if they get to a store, it's because that store does barrel picks. It's not
barrel,
that we've got distribution in those states.
Right.
And I think that's the way Safai is going to be spreading, is through
Interesting.
somebody who knows and is really into it and is really invested in buying this whiskey.
And for our audience who maybe can't get to a specific state that would put it out there, is there a way for them to buy it maybe online through the website?
Yep. So we ship through Kentucky Bourbon Direct. So we ship any place you can get it shipped. Sorry, people in Utah, but pretty much anywhere else you can order a bottle of Safai Bourbon or Safai Rye online.
Okay, perfect, excellent. And these two specific bottles we have up here in front of us today, can you tell us a little bit more about these two releases specifically?
Well, Barrel 12 I've not had yet, so if we try that, I'll be trying it for the first time
I
also.
think we ought to.
I think that's an opportunity.
I think we ought to
right
just
there.
talk over the bourbon here.
Yeah, we will. Barrel 4 is a weeded bourbon that we bottled a couple years ago.
Weeded.
All the bourbons are weeded,
Yep.
and Barrel 4 was one that we dumped it once when it was hot in my old warehouse, and we immediately learned we're never dumping a hot barrel again. Just because when you bottle something, you want to get everything out. You want to flock it all out of that barrel, and so that was our lesson learned. So Barrel 4 was actually bottled, rebarreled, and then bottled again after giving it some time to get back in the wood, and then getting the wood cool before we dumped it. So that is a thing. Probably spilled too much inside baseball on that one, but that was one that we learned from. It's one of the first that we've done. And we did it on a hot summer day in my old warehouse.
Hot barrel, you said hot barrel.
The whiskey was 87 degrees.
Oh, wow.
And so when we got home, we were there bottling, and we're like, oh man, this is hot. But when we got home and tried it, we called each other. The Safais and I were like, oh, we can't. So then we went back in and took 150 bottles, put them back in the barrel, rested it for a winter. But no, those are all some of the first ones we've done. Barrel 3 was the one that won San Francisco Wine and Spirits Best Single Barrel in the world. So we don't have any more of that. I will say this year they're going to do some announcements soon. We scored pretty well in this year's competition too. So it's going to be another good year in that competition for it. That'll be Barrel 9, I believe. But Barrel 4 is a good barrel. It's been one we've been selling only out of the tasting room. It's been pretty delicious.
And I know some of the other competitors or peers, I should say, we've heard some of them have shut down a little bit their production. I know you guys are, more of a single barrel,
smaller production.
Smaller, yeah. Is any effect that you guys see from the rest of the bourbon or whiskey market with that
interest
shutdown?
maybe for clubs or?
Yeah, the clubs are going strong.
Okay.
The bourbon clubs, that consumer is going strong, and they're very much ready for a product like Mike Safai. It's hyper premium, incredibly delicious, special occasion bourbon. It's incredibly collectible, and it's very sophisticated, complicated taste. Left Bank, my brand, I'm doing a $50 daily drinker. And what I did, knowing that the industry was facing challenges, is I get rid of my real estate, simplified my operating model, cut my sales teams back down kind of to the bone just to be able to survive a little bit of a downturn. So I am flat on last year's sales. But the other thing that we found in the supplier world is that the bourbon barrels are cheaper than ever. There's so many of our peers in the industry that might be over-levered. They've got a lot of money in their inventory of barrels, and their accountants are making them exit those barrels. So where I would, 3 years ago, I would get a 5-year-old barrel of Green River for $3,500. Right now, I can get a 6-year-old barrel of Green River for $1,200.
Really?
Yes. So the barrel price, and that's because these people invested a lot and they need to exit that.
Right.
You're seeing a lot of investment groups trying to tell people that you buy bourbon barrels, line go up, you make money forever. And we hit a point where it's just not going 10, 12% a year.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people got in over their skis on that.
Okay.
And we're seeing that. And I think this year there's going to be a lot of corrections. People are going to have to figure out, does my brand make sense? Does my product make sense? And we've seen that Gen Z they're not drinking as much.
Yeah.
But I would say we operate a tasting room on the Bourbon Trail, and we have regular new consumers coming in every weekend who've never done a bourbon tasting.
Yeah.
So there is an audience there that are curious about bourbon, curious about the story, and they want to buy and experience these brands. So for us, it's making sure that we don't get out over our skis, try to get in too many states. And you see a lot of brands that jump out and like, we're Southern, we're 37 states, yay! And they don't have the infrastructure to sustain it.
Yeah.
So we are small, we're intentionally small, we're trying to grow at a sustainable way. And Mike is really locked onto the clubs and he loves them. Yeah. So he loves meeting with the clubs and selling barrels through them.
Excellent.
Right. So in this facility here, you're saying that with the facility, Mike actually was a part of this facility here?
This building Mike owns.
Mike
So
owns.
this building is Logan Street Market. It is Louisville's primary food hall.
Logan Street Market. So if you're in the area, and you guys open so people can come in and taste and these at all?
Yes, yeah, we have a tasting room here. We are a craft destination on the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. Okay. So we're an official stop.
Oh, super.
We do tastings through a couple of booking sites, Kentucky Hug and our websites. So we do tastings, Thursday through Sunday in here all the time.
Got it.
Perfect. Well, speaking of tastings, did we want to maybe try one or two?
Are you guys rye curious, or you want to start with a bourbon?
Oh gosh.
I would start with a bourbon, then rye, because ryes are typically a little more spicy, a little more,
This rye will ruin you for any other rye, because 9
okay.
years
We've
in
had a good
challenge
rye
accepted.
today.
I don't know. Challenge accepted.
Cheers. There's the bourbon.
Cheers. Okay.
Perfect.
We'll give that
Thank you.
over to Gary.
Thank you, Ken. Appreciate it. And this is what proof on the rye again?
This is 114 proof.
114, nice price proof point.
It's distilled at New Riff, and one thing that makes a Safai Bourbon different is the mash bill. Some people call this a 4-grain mash bill. It is corn, wheat, honey roasted barley, and malted barley. And that honey roasted barley at 15% of the mash bill is what's giving us the honey notes on the nose.
I was going to say very sweet. Yeah.
I am in love with a lot of the honey finishes out there.
So this is not a honey finish, though. It's nice.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It's not
Yeah.
honey finish, but it's ingrained in, it's part of the mash bill itself. The nose is spectacular.
The nose is amazing.
Very
Wow.
floral sweetness in the nose.
Yeah, the floral, I get a little bit of that, but yeah.
And we always bottle over 100 proof, which means we never have to chill filter. So a reason you get a good viscosity and mouthfeel is because we're not chill filtering like the big guys have to do.
Right.
So
I would say one of the sweetest ryes I've had.
Well, this is not the rye. This is the wheated bourbon.
Oh, sorry. I was like, wait a second.
Yeah.
For a wheated bourbon, this is very sweet,
Yeah.
which I love. Very, very well balanced. Sorry, I misspoke. Yes, I know it was a bourbon.
It's clove in the middle, honey. You can taste the honey coming out, but then on the back end, you can taste some of the bourbon first. It comes out, the oakiness in here. Yeah.
But it's not a lot of oakiness because the honey and the wheat are taming it.
Yep.
And that's the thing. I know people love age. They want 10, 12, 14 years. 8, 9, 10 years is a really good age for bourbon if they've had good years. It had 4 years in my old warehouse where it got a ton of temperature variation.
Yep.
So these have seen some seasons. They've seen some heat, they've seen some cold, and bottling them at this age, I think it presents perfectly.
No, I agree with you. Yeah, I think this is not only a daily sipper, something that you can have every day, but also a special occasion.
Aged in New Riff, right? Newport.
It spent its first 5 years in New Riff in northern Kentucky. Then it moved to my warehouse in 2021 in western Louisville.
Oh, okay.
So these guys have actually, the barrels traveled a little bit as we were getting ready to model Safai. Because Safai had these cooked in 2016 at New Riff. And he had the vision for what he was going to do, but it took him 10 years to kind of get back around, get his attention back and start doing this. So then we started doing it. We started bottling about 2023, 2024 in my old warehouse. Then we moved here last year. So we've been bottling here in Mike's building for the past year.
Got it.
And that second sip I just had, that's a nice little bite on the end of it. It's smooth, and then a bite. And that's nice to kind of finish it up. I love that. That's great.
Kind of happenstance. It wasn't planned that way, but it was just the way that it worked out.
Yeah.
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 Right. I love those stories.
Yeah, this is not a
It's like-
carefully planned and scheduled journey. It's just how we got here.
You have to be dynamic in some of those senses when you're trying to make
Gotta be
bourbon.
open to new ideas and new opportunities.
Or
right?
just
Yeah.
roll with the new plans as they come along.
And I don't think Mike foresaw the clubs really locking on.
Yeah.
Once he won San Francisco, and then Cut Barrel Coalition in Texas did a barrel pick, and all of a sudden the clubs were just on the
Got
radar.
out there. Yeah.
And Mike didn't foresee
Wow.
that, but he's embracing it and loving it because he loves just chewing the fat with the guys. You know, a club comes in and they spend 3 or 4 hours doing a pick, and that's his favorite thing. But I think that's really a good market for him and his bourbon because this is a very sophisticated, very complicated bourbon, special occasion bourbon. It's perfect. It's a good fit.
Yeah,
This
as I was
is
saying,
good.
I mean, if you could afford it for a daily sipper, great. But if not, special occasions, birthdays, Father's Day,
Yep.
Yeah.
holidays. Yeah, this is something you put on the top shelf and bring out for that, especially because
Yeah, and
that's a special whiskey right there.
This is not something we cocktail.
No,
No,
we're not putting an ice
no.
cube in it. We're not
No, no,
mixing
no,
it.
no.
No, don't do that, guys. No.
Oh,
for
it's
sure.
your journey. You can, but it
is-
definitely presents itself best
Yeah.
without hiding it in something else
Yes,
because this is a
masking it.
bourbon that should stand alone.
Yeah, we like to introduce our users or our listeners to just everything out there. We aspire to the novice yet
Curious
curious
whiskey
whiskey enthusiasts. People that are starting their journey, but people through their journey, people looking for new things too.
And
And
special
this
bottles.
is new
Yeah.
special bottle. Yeah, that was amazing.
That was very, very delightful. Yeah.
Alright.
Wow.
It was a very.
You gonna shock us with the rye now?
I am. I'm going to ruin you for any other rye on earth. So,
Oh, okay.
Did I
right.
sit down? No, I'm just kidding. And the color on that.
oh,
too
it's
is-
amazing. And I'm a person. I drink a lot of old, unobtainable
Thank you,
ryes.
sir.
So I have
Yes.
SAS 18. I have Jefferson's 21 rye.
Some Willets
I
and
have
Sure.
Unattainable. I like
Willets
that.
are a little bit hot. So,
Unattainable. I like that. Besides the impossible or the unicorn. Unicorn is I think attainable, but I like the unattainable.
Yeah.
Unattainable ryes. Like you will never see this rye ever in any store or available anywhere.
So this is a
It's
10-year rye.
impossible.
10-year rye at barrel
95
proof.
95
Yeah, it's 128, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I have a little bit of water if you guys want to splash it down. But
Oh
try it
no
out
no
first.
no
Yeah.
no no.
I'm trying it for the first time too. And
Okay. And my advice always to our listeners and our watchers out there is always to try a whiskey how the distiller meant
Yeah.
for you to taste it
Neat,
originally,
which is-
neat, room temp, no ice, no water,
Out of the
Glencairn
bottle.
glass, so you get the nose experience. The full senses are exposed to it.
yeah, that's your way to start, and then whatever way you prefer to enjoy it. But this is an amazing bourbon. I mean, the wood is doing so much to it.
Solid nose on that. Just a good. I'm
That's
getting like the vanilla
delicious.
out of the nose. Just
It doesn't have the heat of a Willet or some of your other spicier high ryes. The wood has tamed that down, so you're getting vanillin, you're getting other compounds, other sugars from the wood that balance that spice out.
And then there's like that sweet note on the end too. Like
I get a little bit of mintiness on the end.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I don't know. I can't explain it. It's just like the sweet.
And those are coming out of the wood.
honey,
You know, a lot of
maybe?
those
I don't
sweet
know.
dark, the sweet brown sugars are coming out of the
maybe
wood.
Sugar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. You're right. You said this is what's
like a
I'm
little
trying
bit-
to figure out the words to
I'm
explain.
almost like getting molasses on here.
Yeah, there's like that sweet, right?
Yeah,
At the
it's
finish, like I get
it's like
that
a dark molasses.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
And this is 128 proof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is the 10-year. And
10-year.
Are these available here?
These are available here at the
the-
bottle
at
shop.
101
yes.
Logan Street.
And what is available online will rotate. So when you
Okay.
look on the website, goes to Kentucky Bourbon Direct, and we'll say what barrel it is and what proof it is because we know people are looking for specific barrels of Safai. So it's what we've got on there at the time. But yeah, you can order the rye or the bourbon from the website or come here and get it. There are a lot of clubs picking up barrels of the rye.
I can see why.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like, so, not to put you on the spot, but do you have a specific release from Safai that has left a memory with you that you've kind of always come back to that one? Like this is a, whether it's the first time you had it or it's just every time you have it, it's like, okay, this is just a special. All of them are special, but the most special.
All single barrels. Those
Yeah.
can't
Right.
be
Is there
repeated.
one that you
almost.
remember
can't.
that?
Barrel 3
Okay.
was the one that won San Francisco of the bourbon.
Okay.
That one was just plain outstanding.
Okay.
We've had another one, 9 or 10, that when you get it down to 112 proof, stands up the same. Distilled on the same day from the same batch. So there are a couple of those early barrels of that wheated bourbon that are amazing. Barrel 2 of the rye has been my favorite. We put it at 112 proof, and I think it just stands perfectly there. Like you can sit and sip it. You don't notice the heat because you're getting that sweet on the back note. You're getting all those wood, and the nose is amazing on it.
And this one, at 128, how does that compare with Barrel 2?
I mean, it's
I don't.
no, it is.
You might have to have some
You
more
may have
later,
both of
but
them out here to
I
try
need to
that
spend more
one.
time.
yeah,
with
yeah,
it.
you need some more time with it, but just you might
It's
have to come
bigger.
back.
It's bigger.
This
it's
is
brighter.
bigger?
Yeah, this is bigger and brighter.
Yeah.
I think the Barrel 2 that I like something that is, I don't want to call it smoother, but it's not overloading my taste buds.
Right.
This has a lot going on.
It's
It's
got a
delicious,
lot.
but it's got a lot going on. So
It does.
that's a balance I try to strike.
Yeah. No, these are both joys. I mean, these were treats.
This is
amongst
Barrel
treats. So.
Barrel 12, yeah.
Yeah, so got a little bit of experience from 2 to 12.
Yeah.
And Mike has a few more releases coming out this year. What's the future look like in the terms of the immediate in like 6 months?
He's booked up for barrel picks.
Okay.
So I know you were in the tasting room a minute ago.
Yes.
And he was bottling yesterday. So he is
Right.
every week bottling
that.
at least a barrel right now. So that's what's going on right now. Is most of the year will be going for that. The Kentucky Bourbon Festival is in September. We will be doing a double tent there, and we will be dropping a 10-year chocolate roasted barley bourbon. So we have a special barrel we're holding back for that. Yeah, it's pretty mind-blowing. And some of those chocolate ones, and that's just malting the barley longer.
Yeah.
You got malted barley, honey malted barley, chocolate malted barley. So this chocolate roasted barley really gives chocolate notes. Like people will look at me and not believe that we're not adding something to it. We're not rectifying.
Wow.
So we're going to drop a 10-year-old chocolate roasted barley for Kentucky Bourbon Festival. That one's going to be pretty outstanding.
That sounds
and as
so
we
sick.
get in the fall, they'll announce who won San Francisco this year.
Yeah.
So we're going to most of these all of these barrels are turning 10 this year that we haven't bottled yet.
Wow.
So as we get into the back quarter of the year, we're going to be releasing a lot of 10-year-old special barrels.
Nice.
Mike is also working with distillers. A lot of people are trying to partner with him right now because he's pretty talented.
Yeah.
And so we've got 40 or 50 barrels coming in from other distilleries, all weeded bourbons. Mike likes a weeded bourbon. So we're going to be finishing them in some of his barrels. We're going to be doing some Kelvin finishes on other people's distillate to get it up to what Mike Safai thinks meets his name.
Okay.
So we're going to have some other expressions that aren't just the 2016 New Riff to get us through the next few years.
Yep.
And this year, Mike is having New Riff cook a whole other batch of barrels for him, so that 8 years down the road, we're on another version of this.
Wow. So forward thinking, which I like, because
Yeah.
you don't want to be stuck and like, what do we do now? So
Yeah, his son is now 21, and his son Colton is now learning. Colton's also a super taster, so Mike is handing the reins to his
There you
son.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's a good vision. It's a good
Yeah.
way because Mike has done a lot of creative things, and I think this bourbon is outstanding.
It
so
is.
his goal
Excellent.
is going to be that Colton takes the reins,
Wow.
and you got some continuity. So he's laying down the next 10, 12 of product. There.
perfect.
10, 12 years of product there.
With,
sorry.
with the Kelvin cooperage, is there any experimentation on like the char level or anything like that would influence it, or is he just keeping like char number 2, or is it?
It's super important to him that he reproduces this, what was
Okay.
done in 2016. So for the next batch we're doing, New Riff called us last week and said, hey guys, Kelvin cooperage is going to cost a lot of money to ship these barrels
Right.
because New Riff have warehouses full of independent stave. They've got warehouses full of Speyside, other cooperages. They're like, this is going to add cost. And Mike said, no. He was really serious. He's like, this
Right.
needs to be exactly like what we did in 2016.
Consistency.
Okay.
So it is going to be
no.
the same 3 char, medium
char,
toast,
okay.
Kelvin cooperage barrels, and the same still, the same mash bill. So he'll have other things off to the side, but for the core Safai Bourbon and Safai Rye, it's going to be that core and Kelvin cooperage on New Riff stills because it's been an amazing fit.
That's perfect. Yeah, I think, you were giving so much time, Ken. I know we're talking about Safai whiskey. We're 25 minutes into the interview. We appreciate all the information
Yeah.
about Safai. It's for our audience. I think
Fire hose
so for
of
some who have
information.
not heard of Safai whiskeys,
Yeah.
bourbons and ryes, this is a great introduction to them. Those who have, I just probably encourage them to actually come down and buy a bottle, go online,
Invest
and buy
in a
bottle.
bottle.
Exactly, it's
Put it in
definitely
your
worth
bar.
it. From the Real Bourbon Bros, it's definitely worth
Yes.
it. We'll have some quick hitters for you, some quick
Yeah.
questions we have.
Okay,
We
all right.
don't want to. We always ask our guests, the question of what was your first that you can remember legal
Legal.
whiskey drink? Whether it be a single pour, maybe it was a mixer, but hopefully a single pour. If you can remember what that was.
Gin, vodka, they don't count.
My first legal drink would have been probably a bourbon and Coke, and it was
Okay.
at 12:15. Right after midnight, when I turned 21, I'd been playing
Awesome.
pool in a bar called The Tavern. I'd been
Okay.
playing pool there for months.
Yeah.
And I walked up to the bartender and I put my license down and I said, I'd like to buy my first legal drink.
Oh,
And I got a
that's
bourbon and Coke. And he
He
said,
looked at it.
he said curse words to me because I'd been drinking illegally there for a few months.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah, because I was a regular. He just never carded me. So
Yeah.
when I put I was like, I'd like to buy my first legal beer now.
Oh my
I had the
God.
same bar.
Yeah.
Not the same bar, but I had the
They
same
knew you.
experience.
They
yeah.
knew you. They knew the family
That's
too.
kind of cool.
If you had to pick any type of specific whiskey category, rye, Irish whiskey, Japanese, bourbon, American whiskey, which would be your favorite whiskey category?
You go to.
Oh, I'm bourbon.
Bourbon.
Yeah, I mean, I've traveled
Awesome.
everywhere. I've been to Ireland.
Yeah.
I think bourbon is because our climate is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the American spirit. And that's why my brand celebrates how bourbon got the name, because it's super important to us. But we have seasonal variation that Ireland doesn't have. We have to use brand new barrels. We have so many rules that make bourbon
regulations,
just the best whiskey, period.
Right.
And that's something I evangelize for every day in here. People come in and they say they like scotch or they like something else. I can fix them. I can make them better.
Try this. What is that?
And bourbon,
Okay.
the nice thing is, it's so many varieties. You've got different
Yeah.
flavoring grains, you've got different mash bills, and in the craft world, we're all trying to innovate. So I do like pure bourbons. I'm not crazy about finishes, going in strange beer casks and strange
right.
wine
All right.
casks.
You answered one of my questions, but I do have another question, kind of quick hitter. So we try to aspire to the novice yet curious whiskey enthusiast. So what was your one point of advice for people starting their journey on their whiskey journey?
I would say, because something I have in here in the tasting room all the time is I dread somebody making the face. You know, what for me that is making sure when you try it first, you're trying it with an open mind and you're taking a minute. So you do the 3-sip step.
Yep.
You know, you don't just take a big slug, and then it's making sure when people start.
I cringe when people do that.
Yeah, and they learn how to
Really?
nose. It's not to be snobby, but one nostril is almost always not working.
Yes.
So it's figuring out which nostril works and then nosing with your mouth open.
Yep.
Because if you nose with your mouth open, your tongue actually gets the vanilla, the butterscotch. It gets the good stuff you're looking for when you drink that bourbon. So for me, that's the novice thing I do every day in here is helping somebody learn how to nose better because it gets their taste buds ready for that first hit of high proof alcohol.
Yeah. You might have seen us when we were sipping, the exact same thing. So
That's a great piece of advice, and I think
very
our
good.
audience
Thank
would
you.
really appreciate that. Well, Ken, thank you so much. I think we're going to wrap it up. We know you're probably busy and have other things to do, but Gary and Steve, we appreciate all the time you give us. Ken.
Awesome.
Well, Safai Whiskey. Everybody get down to Louisville or look online. Safai Whiskeys. You'll find some great special releases.
Yeah,
from
stop by for a tasting.
Yeah.
Excellent.
You'll love it. All right. Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it.
Enjoy.
So that was, if you want to, we can do some about.
If you want to.
Now, those are great.
Oh, that was right. Was phenomenal over there.
Try a little bit.